Welcome to Earth2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic books. Well, I can't really say comic book talk is the norm, but Happy New Year and welcome to the first ranked show of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. As requested, someone said, "Hey, I like your ranked show that you do." Not necessarily because they did hate the Nolan one. They didn't like that one at all. They were like, "Yeah, no." It was like the only they've liked most of the ranked shows we've done, but not the Nolan one because somehow we didn't call Nolan a god and just S tier all his movies.
Oh, well, you know what? Those people exist.
They do, just not us.
Yep. Those people exist the same way people who love Zack Snyder movies exist.
Oh man, 2021 is gonna be great because we're gonna get that Snyder cut. So like, okay, 2021 is gonna be a good year for them because they're gonna get that Snyder cut and they're gonna love it. And I don't think
doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how bad it is. That man can put it right on a plate and they'll love it.
They'll love it, and we're not gonna hear the end of it because at first, it exists, and then when Warner Brothers finally gave in and was like, you know what, HBO Max needs content, and what better way to get people to come subscribe to HBO Max than the people we didn't really care about for 3 years? But hey, here you go, Snyder cut.
Basically, it didn't exist.
It didn't exist because
it didn't exist.
It was $75 million to man. And the best part about it, right? They're giving you guys they're giving them a meal box. It's a mother box of like it's 100 pounds. And the worst part is, right? It's 100 pounds, but
they'll buy it too.
HBO Max doesn't exist. But for somehow, instead of
get the food.
You get the food. The next best thing. You can't get HBO Max, but you're gonna get the next best thing, which is
I said earlier they have to recoup their losses somehow.
Listen, they looked at their accounts and said $75 million to make this movie. If we don't get the subscribers, yes. And listen, so I think hopefully maybe before the end of the year, HBO Max exists in the UK. But if not.
How fucking rude is it? Like, we complain about how expensive like food in theaters is, and then how rude is this?
I think that's the point, though. I think they're giving you the experience. It's like, because if you went to the theaters, if the Snyder Cut came out, you buy like the Justice League. You would get that cup from like AMC, right? It's like with all the characters on it. Or they give you
that goes right in the trash.
Right. Or you go on like the Wednesday and you get a Wonder Woman cup, and then you go on Tuesday and you get a Aquaman cup type shit until you collect the Justice League. It'll be like collect all of us. You know.
You have to see for each character.
Right. But I think that used to happen when I was a kid. I don't know if it still happens now, where they like collect, because it would have been great from Disney Marvel to do it with the Avengers and Runner, but I think because
I think it's stupid.
Listen, stupid. I feel like I collected all the cups at one point for some movie. I'm not sure which one it was. No, not
I'm judging you.
Not grown up me, kid me.
I'm judging kid you.
I feel the judgment. Not grown up me, obviously, was kid me at some point. I felt like I needed to collect, maybe not all of them, just the one that I really liked. I don't know what movie it was, but I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Where movies to give out cups.
I'm trying to imagine telling my mom that I want to go to a movie on a specific day. Like, Mom, I want to go on Tuesday because the cups on Tuesdays are the cups I want.
It'll be for the character you like. Like Transformers only collect Bumblebee on Wednesdays, and you have to.
My mom would have looked at me like I had two heads, like first generation immigrant, like straight up Nigerian. She'd be like,
no,
you're lucky I know.
At all. You have to have cool uncles, right, and aunts that did that for you, right? Not because you wouldn't ask your parents. Like, come on, Ray.
Yeah,
you wouldn't ask your mom.
On a Tuesday night, in the middle of the week.
let me see. I know I saw. So like when the Matrix came out, I was
Mm-hmm.
under 18. Shit. Shit. Is the Matrix that long? Yo.
I was
What
18 when
the
that
second
came
one?
out.
'Cause I think the
Well,
first
I
one
was either
came.
17 or 18 when it came out.
Yeah, the first one came out, and I was no. The first one was PG-13, and then when they got into like the Reloaded, because
Mm-hmm.
they had that scene with butts, and they had the big
Right.
dance, like big dance party. I couldn't see that one because my mom made sure I couldn't see because it was rated R. And everything.
My wife told everybody, "Don't take them."
But I asked my cool aunt, and she was like, "Oh man, your mom's gonna be mad. Don't tell her." You see, so I went and saw the movie regardless. I'm saying you have to have a cool aunt because let me tell you, it even got worse because I believe African parent, right? Harry Potter. Um,
Yo,
you couldn't have
I
the
was,
books
I
or
was,
watch
I
the
was,
movies.
I was old enough by the time all that came out. And while I was not interested, I can't imagine what it would have been like if I'd wanted to see it. My mom she would have sent me to some kind of revival.
Yo, let me
Great
give
for
you
your soul.
I didn't even see the movie. I had a book from the library. I borrowed a book from the library, a Harry Potter book from the school library, high school. Graduation comes around, and I was looking for this book every day to return it because I couldn't find it. So I was like, forget it. And then they sent a letter to the house that if you don't, you have to pay for the book to replace it, or
Yeah.
else you can't get your cap and gown. And my mom was like, oh, she goes in her room and pulls
Oh
the
my
book
god.
out. Let me tell you, I almost didn't graduate high school because of fucking Harry Potter. I was so mad.
Oh my god. I'm
Yo.
mad for you. I'm mad for you. I'm so mad for you.
Anyways, but like that was my experience with Harry Potter, and it wasn't great. And I defied her and went and saw the rest of the movies. But all in all, like cool uncle 2020. Oh, so we're here in 2021.
I think the point I'm trying to get across here is
Right.
you were a kid, right? If there
Yeah.
were if there were 7 cups, you had like maybe one. If you were lucky, two cool
Yeah,
aunts
yeah,
and uncles.
two, right.
You weren't seeing that movie 7 times. You were seeing it
No,
2 times if you were lucky.
max.
If you were lucky. So
Yes.
like to collect all
I
nah.
mean, yeah, you're right.
It's
I'm
the only people collecting all the cups were adults.
true. Which is why I can't remember if I collected one. So you might be right. I may not be sure about it. I may not have collected all
Either,
the.
either way, I'm judging kid you and I'm judging adult you.
Oh man. So 2021 gives us the Snyder Cut finally. HBO Max is saying here we're great. So if you're in that bubble, in that category, 2021 is going to be great for you. But the ranking show. So let's get to what we're going to be ranking today. So after the person said, "Hey, I like your show, not Nolan, but I like the rest of the shows. Can you guys rank the first couple of weeks in 2021, or can you rank 2020?" And I was like, "Dang, I feel like we're so far away from 2020 that I don't want to talk."
I'm ready to let 2020 go.
Yes, we're not talking about 2020
Like
anymore.
there's this phrase like 2020 was like just a blur for me, right?
Right.
But like the saving grace was like having my kid.
Oh
You
man,
know, like had my kid like the year before. But
Mhm.
like, like watching him grow up from like, a potato to like someone who can say my name, well, say dad, you know. That's all been fantastic. But like the only memory I have of 2020, aside from all that and him, is
Mhm.
like November and having terror shits. And like I can't put this into words. I do
I'm
you
sorry.
do you do you ever have do you have ever have like stomach problems when you're anxious?
Yes.
Right. During that whole election period,
Yo, I
I
feel
did
like I've
not
never
get
been.
I
Listen,
did not
that
get it wasn't a night. It was like an entire week of it, right? Because like we were just waiting for these like results to get finalized for like a
it
whole
took
week.
a whole
Like
week.
I was waking up every 30 minutes, looking at the news for about 15 minutes and going back to sleep. Waking up like they came up with the word doom scrolling, but someone else said terror shits, and that is the perfect word for me.
Right,
Because
right.
I was so anxious. I had the BGs for an entire week. Like I was running to the bathroom for an entire week from anxiety. Like that's
Dang,
the
that's
only thing.
crazy.
If anyone asks me anything about 2020 that's not about my kid, that is my description of 2020. Right, that week is the only thing I remember about 2020. That
No, see,
terror shits week.
I'm right. I was right there with you. I spent election night. What did I do election night? So that night, right? I'm listen. I couldn't be in the house, so I called a friend. I was like, hey, like, I need. So we pulled up somewhere, and we just sat. Pulled up at her house and sat and just chilled there for a second, and we couldn't even do or talk about anything else. We're on Google refreshing, seeing what seeing what states and trying to like
Yep.
you see
Yep.
if we and then the thing about it for everyone was, oh my god, if you had just let Bernie run, this is not where we like it was the oh, the night because she's a Bernie bro and but right, no, she's a Bernie bro, but she said, I'm gonna do what I have to do because we need to get this person out of here.
Yes,
But
sir.
if we had just let Bernie do his thing, we'd be here now. Da 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 da. I'm like, yo, listen, it's too late for that. We're here. This is what's in front of us. Let's hope. Like
I'm not for that argument. Like, listen. This is what it is.
this is where we are. Like
It doesn't matter how you feel about how we got here. This is what it is. This is where we are. We got to do something.
right. And I didn't get back home till about 2 in the morning because I kept, I was like, okay, something got to give, right? And like you said, for a whole week, so at some point, 3 days into the week, I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I cut it off. I became an African parent. I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
CNN, MSNBC. I know all of them by first name basis now. Listen, I consume more CNN and MSNBC in that week than the entire
Yep.
year of
Yep.
dealing with COVID. But
Yep.
so like, yes, I said I'm not touching 2020. We could have done 2020 at the end of that year and left it there. We're just gonna leave that there. And looking at 2021 so far, it's just a month in, but it's been
Yeah.
so
Yep.
it's like let's so I'm looking at the headlines. I'm just looking at stuff like trying to rack up my head. Like, okay, what has happened in 2021 so far? The first Wednesday of 2021, insurrection. Because
Insurrection day.
listen, because from the week after the elections were called,
Mm-hmm.
after Georgia, everyone is like, no, it's a lie. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I got a little scared. I did. I don't know if you would feel the fear or why you'd feel that fear. I got a little scared because it's like, this is why, like, what if someone, my thing was, it probably won't happen, but what if someone was crazy enough to say it didn't happen the way it happened and then decided to do something about it? Right. And I'm like, but what if, and I also thought, but what if, is Trump crazy enough? Like, is democracy even that strong enough to withstand like any of the shit that could go down? Those were literally my thoughts for like all of the rest of 2020 into 2021. And then the first week of 2021, you get the insurrection. So I'm like, oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I felt like Alice
I,
in Resident
I,
Evil, you are all going to die. Like, what?
I saw that happening. Well, we were all in the group chat that entire time, right?
Right.
I was kind of like, you know what? Like if Trump's not going to do anything, I'm sure like there's some loophole somewhere where Maryland can send the National Guard and Virginia can send the National Guard, whatever. And I'm so the whole week is just that whole like period is still just kind of surreal to me
It
that it
really
happened the
is.
way it did. It happened the way it did, and it went as far as it did. Like I'm a black guy.
No, I didn't know that.
like I'm a black guy. Like I can't imagine my black ass doing that shit on the Capitol and not being like clapped in like 30 seconds. Like I
Seriously.
can't imagine it. Like we would have been washed in no
No,
time.
and you know the worst part about that is a couple years prior, or maybe while I think Obama was president, this lady, who had like history of mental issues, got spooked, pulled around the area of the Capitol and got spooked and drove over the
Right.
guard, the fences, and she got clapped.
Yeah.
Like they shot into her car. Her kid was in the car. Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
So, if she was black, but these people at the behest, because as you can't tell me that he wasn't like he at the behest of the president.
Like Congress can have that whole argument or whatever and like pretend like it wasn't him. Like that's there's a whole sorry, I'm
No,
drinking.
go ahead.
There's a whole problem with the law in the sense that like if you infer something,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get into trouble, right? That's just
Right.
how it goes legally. Like if you infer, you can't get into trouble. You have to literally say it for it to become a thing. So like you can infer all you want, but as long as you don't outright say it, like you're good.
Right.
And like I think the correct word for it is dog whistle, right? Like
Right.
you can dog whistle all you want, and then be like, no, I didn't say what you said. I'm saying, like at all. Like this is what I said. This is literally what I said. I didn't say any of that. But the people who are listening to you, who support you, know what you meant. They know
Facts.
exactly what you meant. And like it's hard to argue against dog whistles legally. Like
Right. I think that's the only thing. But you can directly quote Rudy Giuliani saying, "Pull them out." I can't even get it out because it's so ridiculous. Trial by combat.
Like
And
he is
later
a whole new thing. Like he is like okay, so like there's the whole argument that Trump's like really, really dumb, but he knows how to get what he wants.
right.
Like there's the he's really smart, he can get what he wants, or he's dumb, but he just happens to get what he wants. I don't know how Rudy Giuliani like evolved from like 9/11 into this pastiche of a human being that he is now. That is like all these like I can't even begin to understand what turned him into the person he is now. Has he always just been this person?
He has always been shitty. He has always been shitty. But the thing is,
I know he's always been shitty, but I didn't think he was like shitty and dumb.
I don't know. I think 9/11 saved him and gave him new life. And so he felt like he was untouchable because of that, because 9/11 cemented kind of changed his narrative a little bit. If you look at it that way, it's one of those things. He was probably feeling himself. So he's like, there's no way anything can come back to me. But look at you now, bro. You're fucking, your whole legacy's done. You're a joke. For the rest of your life. And you probably have jail time coming to you.
That is the word for it. That is the word for him. Like it's like you have so much social capital and then you just light it on fire.
Right.
Like absolutely just destroy it. Like
every week, everything leading up to the insurrection moment, he was pouring gasoline into the legacy. He just kept fueling the flames. And it's like you're playing Russian roulette, right? And you're lucky.
Yeah.
You just keep going and you keep adding bullets to the gun until you finally shoot his head. Like and that is the first week of January 2021 because The second week I feel like was kind of lame, compared to the first week. Don't judge me, but he got, the second Wednesday actually he got impeached. That was what happened the
Yeah.
second Wednesday. So nothing, it was coming anyway. So
right.
After the insurrection, they were like, "No, we can't." And I think the Republicans wanted to. And okay, so now, I think the most interesting part of that whole process is there were people who were on his side after the whole thing flipped. It was like, "Oh no,"
Right.
and there's certain people who are still not flipping. Fucking Ted Cruz, the Hawley guy, and I think the new Michelle Taylor Greene, or what, I don't know her name, whatever she is called. Right. And but I think what makes me sick is not even Ted Cruz, because he's spineless and he's a fucking idiot, is the
He's always
people.
been that way since the Tea
Yes.
Party, the whole Tea Party debacle.
And you know what? I kind of respect him more than anyone else because he's at least staying his ground.
He is consistent about his being evil.
Right. And then the other people, not Mitch McConnell, the Senate, was it the majority of now the minority leader of the House? Oh, crap. Anyways, he flipped. Like there were the day before the insurrection, there were 12 senators that said they were going to argue,
contest
this entire thing, and it just 12 of them ended up becoming just 3 who decided like nah, we're still gonna be here. Hawley, Ted Cruz, and it was one more person, I think a woman. And then inside of that week also Georgia had their runoff elections, which they had so that was kind of interesting that week, and not really. And then the next following week was the inauguration, which ended up being a huge fashion show. And then the biggest thing that's all it was. It's like we're trying to put the new president in, but no, it like you forgot all about the whole thing happening, and it was the fashion show, the Bible, and Bernie stole the show.
I guess.
See, so that's also kind of like meh. And then the last week, this is the last week. Oh no, then the next week after that, we have Reddit deciding to eat the rich.
Yeah.
Which to me might be the most god tier thing to happen this month.
I don't know.
I just feel like it's so boss, because it's like for a lot of last year, a lot of people were saying eat the rich, and not a lot of people would, people would still order from Amazon. People would still order from all these people. Fuck, Elon Musk became a billionaire. Well, no, he was already a billionaire, but he became the richest man. And then Jeff Bezos leapfrogged him in like the next week. I mean, these people are playing with us, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole thing happened because some hedge fund managers decided to short GameStop because they needed it to fail to make.
They made a bad bet.
And then some I'm going to say schmo, some regular dudes on Reddit was like,
I think what really happened was someone said, "Oh, this is don't invest your money here or whatever." And like I think in that subreddit, GameStop had been a meme for like a year. And, like there are people who are actually putting into the meme, like investing. But the second that guy was like, "Don't invest in this; it's crap," they were all like, "What? No!" they all just went in and they just ballooned. It's
just people up so bad that they called it market manipulation, which is
isn't that what they were already doing?
Yes. The guy who said don't invest in GameStop, aren't you trying to manipulate the market? Aren't you trying to game the system? And I think
listen, it's okay to game the system if you're a hedge fund or you're a bunch of rich people.
Facts.
The second the poor start gaming the system, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
What? The poor are making the rich people poor? Nah.
Today. And then it got so bad that I think a lot of people were investing on Robinhood decided no.
Yeah.
And so what I'm finding out about Robinhood and that whole thing is Robinhood is owned by some other
Yep.
corporation. So even though the public face of Robinhood are
A bunch of people who will lose money on this, basically. Robinhood is owned by people that will lose money on
this. So they're like, nah, we
we can't let you.
so they suspended buying the shares on their app, and that is the worst. Like, if you didn't believe that rich people manipulated,
Can you imagine if you're like the CEO of like Robinhood and you got that phone call from like people who like invested in your company? You're like, yo, I'm gonna need you to do this. It's like, but I don't want to. And he's like, yeah, but if you don't, we're just gonna pull our funding. You're just gonna die. He's
and
like, I don't. Oh.
But you know what though? I feel like if right he had said no and came and come out publicly and said they wanted me
I
to
mean,
do.
I don't know if that's what happened.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm theorizing.
Yeah, I'm saying if he had
Yeah.
said, if that happened, right, and he said no, and I come out and said they wanted me to do this, but I said no for the people. Do you understand that? I feel like if they pulled their funding,
Yeah,
he would still be able to be alive. Like he would still be able to be
he'd be
afloat.
all right. He'd be all
Yes,
right.
because
As rich as he currently is.
yeah, and the people I feel like would be like, "Oh, you're one of us, so we're going to."
Right.
Because
I saw that tweet that was like, how you gonna name your app Robin Hood?
the whole point of Robin Hood,
And then close down when Robin Hood shit starts happening.
I just feel like, and so I decided those were the 4 things we're gonna rank today. So let's just get into it because we've kind of discussed a majority of it. Obviously, the first thing is the insurrection. Where do you stand on that? If you're looking at like, the rank system we're gonna use today, God tier A, B, C, and what did I say? Can it get worse? So like, the other story about well, we'll get to inauguration, but now the first story, insurrection at the Capitol.
Yeah.
Where do you put that as like moments of 2021 that will like? Is it something that we remembered, or is it are we starting to forget it?
Okay, the question is, what are we rating? Like, how good the thing that happened was, or how bad the thing that happened was, or how interesting it was, or how exciting it was? Like what exactly are we rating these weeks on?
Because you're right, and I think we have to set the parameters here so that we don't sound like dickheads. Because if we sound good, it's like nothing about the insurrection is good. Okay.
No,
But
exactly. There's nothing good about it, but it was certainly exciting.
yes, it was, and so I think that is where I want to, put it as like, yo, how exciting the moments of that, like. But again, for me and you, would you call it exciting? Because again, 2020
Oh,
happened,
okay.
and
Okay. So it was exciting for me looking towards what would happen afterwards, right?
and it's
Because like
beautiful.
as it was happening, like I wasn't and I'll be frank, I wasn't thinking about like the possibility of like the people in Congress getting hurt. My perception was like they probably would be evacuated or whatever. The Secret Service probably got this whole thing. Like I didn't expect it to get as far as it did. But, like right away, I was talking to people about how this will happen and that'll happen and this will happen. Like my favorite thing is like Trump is just gonna get punished. Like like
Yeah.
after his presidency, like it's looking less like that. Like
Yeah.
he's just gonna be clapped out of everything. Him, his family, his whole posse, they're just gonna be clapped. Not looking like it's gonna happen, but at the time, I was excited by the prospect of that. Like, yes, motherfucker, you overreached. Like we gonna get you now. So like that was pretty exciting for me.
For me, it was more so okay when it was happening. When I was watching it, there was a little bit of anger. Just it started with a little bit of anger because of certain events from the year before. But
Yes.
then the more I looked at it, I'm like, and then the next day we're hearing FBI, ATF,
Yeah.
we're hearing Alphabet Boys is on them, and then I think a couple of days after that, we're
Then you were reading all the parlor stuff. Like this was it was all just delicious to me.
oh
Like
right, and
it sucked that it happened, but I was like, they have so
yeah,
much of all y'all. like
and then you see people on eBay selling stuff, and then 2-3 days after that, you're looking at videos of people being kicked off airplanes and people being grabbed up at the airport, and I'm like drinking the at my cup for that moment because I'm like I have to do it. I'm like drinking
yeah.
insurrectionist tears. Yes, it got exciting at some point, and I think, but the Trump part I didn't really think of because I've always felt like he's never going to catch any punishment for anything.
Like that's what it looks like now, right?
Yeah.
And my perception going with him going out was like, there's no way he's gonna get into trouble for anything because like at the very least, like even though he didn't end up attempting to pardon himself, which would have been a constitutional challenge. If he had done that, it would have been a whole constitutional challenge to even be able to do anything to him. Like, does he have the authority to pardon himself? That's something that can be litigated for like years.
Mhm.
Like I was like, he can write a pardon as broad as like what was his name? The guy after Lincoln who pardoned like basically all the Civil War soldiers. Like
Right.
you can mass pardon people all you want. I was like, he can do whatever he wants. He'll get away with it. Screw this guy. But you know what? I'm looking to the future. When the insurrection happened, I was like, yes, you did this. You're in
Okay.
trouble now. Yeah.
So based on that, where do you put it? I think the drinking of conservative tears for me, it was god tier level in
I,
my opinion.
I think like one thing I do have to say, like I wouldn't call it conservative tears. Like I
Oh,
think
cute tears.
that's a bit closer to it, yes. Because like there's something to be said about the ideals of what conservatism is. I don't support it, but
Yeah,
like I can sit down and have a proper discussion about conservatism with someone who is conservative or something like
right,
that.
right. I
But these
got you.
people, I wouldn't call them
Fuck
conservatives. Like
idiots.
they are so far over the line of sanity that like in fact, American conservatives in general, I wouldn't call conservatives.
True,
Like
true.
they are so far over the bar of what is supposed to be conservative that like it's just it soils the meaning of the word conservative. Which
Right.
again, not the side I'm on anyway. But yeah, so
Is
I wouldn't say conservative when describing these people, but like I understand the usage of it colloquially. If that
mm,
makes sense.
right,
Is that
right. Uh,
carry
this,
on?
I when I saw this one lady crying at the airport, I was like, "Yep, this is the
Yes.
moment." That was the moment for me to really
Yep.
enjoy the entire thing. And then I think a couple people have been charged, Proud Boys. Yeah, so it's and then that one lady that turned into the Animaniacs meme.
That was so good.
Really fucking great memes came
That
from
was
this
so
entire thing.
good.
Like,
They talk about the left cat meme. Oh my god. Oh my
they
god.
had great memes from this moment. They pushed
Yeah.
me down and faced me.
It was, I'm sorry. That week after the insurrection, like the insurrection was horrible, but like the
Right.
next the
That's
day of
what
the
followed
insurrection,
the days
they were
after.
they were so lit. They were so lit.
It was. And it was
And
mostly the
and they
days
did their count anyway. They were like, "Yeah, Biden won."
like the next day they're like, oh yeah, it didn't even matter that you guys
Like
wanted to hang like pence.
right, right.
Oh
So
man.
like I'm sorry. Like that was insurrection aside, being a bad thing and it being a bad week. It was
Right.
certainly an exciting week.
Okay. So I'm gonna defer to you. Where do we put this?
Oh man, this is actually really hard. This is
I
actually really hard.
know. I know. Um, I mean, I feel like it's a god tier thing, but I feel like it's a god tier thing because of the following weeks. But if you want to just do the incident itself, based on the excitement level, where would you put it?
I'd put it at an A afterwards. Like after whatever happened, like that's an A. Like it was
Right.
for me personally,
I
anyway.
can see that. I can see that because for me, it's mostly the not the event itself, but it's mostly everything that preceded it that
Right.
gave rise to the event being, to that gave it its level. You know,
Hmm.
yeah. The next thing was the week after. You had all the memes, but then you had the Democrats finally looking like they had balls.
Yeah.
It's because they technically don't, but
No. No.
and so they finally, ran out articles of impeachment, and they finally got him a second time.
I mean,
Did they?
I'd, I'd, I'd put that weak. Like it wasn't.
It was weak. I mean, I think it's weak also because following, it's been kind of dying down.
Yeah.
It's something that you would think. Again, we still have pandemic is still going on, so
Pandemic
there's
is still going on.
there's still a lot more important things happening. But it's
Yep.
something you would think, I think that was said to us that, hey, we're gonna do half and half, where we're gonna do half of what we really need to do, and then the other half of a half of the day for the Senate would be, the impeachment and seeing how, but it just looks like they're not doing that to me.
I don't know what's going on with the entire thing anymore.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
the perception I have is like there's no such thing as a good Republican. Like
oh,
that's the position I have. Like I'm watching all this stuff. Like I see all this stuff happen, and you have to ask them, where do you guys draw the line for something being bad that you will not support? Like where would you draw the line? Like, and they don't seem to have a line. It doesn't matter. They just keep going. And so like when people say like Republicans are a cult, it really, really rings true. Like there's nothing that can happen that will make these guys change their mind. Like,
right.
like Cruz is defending the living daylights out of Trump. Like it's like, yo, didn't he say all those things about you and your
Your
wife? Like
and your dad. Cruz is spineless. He's gutless and spineless. I think every day we find out there's nothing to this man. He's
I
just
don't I don't
trash.
think I don't think that he's gutless and spineless.
Oh,
I
he
think
is.
he
I don't
knows what
care.
he wants. He knows what he wants, and he is willing to lick as many assholes as possible to get what he
Well,
wants.
there's that. There's that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the best way I can describe him. Like he is willing to do
and
whatever it takes to get what he wants, and
the
like
other thing
that is
is,
disgusting.
yes. What's his name? The guy who ran against Obama the second term. Um,
Romney.
yeah, I think they've all seen, like, a lot of the major players have seen how ostracized he is from the
Hmm.
party itself, because he's literally like, he's
He's
a dickhead
basically on his own. Yeah.
on his own. He's on an island, and so they're like, they don't want that. Or it could be another thing. What my personal thing is, they've enjoyed success, Trump's
Hmm.
success from his people, and going against Trump, if because I think a lot of the reasons I thought they were gonna go forward with, the impeachment, and inside of that they were gonna say he can't run again in office,
Right.
was because everyone felt like Trump might start his own party, especially the Republicans, like, kind of push him
See,
out.
here's the thing, right? Like I could be very wrong, but like I recall like the Republican charter being something along the lines of like can't be racist. They say it says that they're clearly racist, but their
Mhm.
charter says things along the lines of can't be racist. And I'm saying like, well, y'all could have just kicked Trump out of the party like before he even got anywhere, it could have been like, well,
Right.
you can't nominate him because you're racist. That didn't happen. They nominated him. He went on to win the election, and then they did nothing to police it or pull him back.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Like at no point were they like, whoa, 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 dude, chill. Like we're Republicans, we're not Satan. At no point were they like, we're like, well, guess this is what we are now. Like we're willing to go as far as you're willing to go.
Right.
And that is the reason why I say there's no such thing as good Republicans.
Yeah.
They didn't fight him at all. They put up with everything he did, and at no point were they like, "Yo, chill." You know,
Right.
like we have three different branches of government to keep each other in check, and for them, it wasn't a matter of keeping him in check. It was a matter of them getting their party stuff to go.
Yes, and that's
Like
what I feel like they've gotten all this support. You look at the fact that the numbers was 75 million people or 70 plus million people voted for Trump, and I think they are looking at that too as like, yo, those could be our numbers at some point when we want 2024, 2022, I
they,
believe 2024. And so I think it's hard for them to separate, you know, themselves from this monster they've created because
yep,
of the
yep,
support, and so
because
they're gonna let a lot slide, and it
yep.
kind of sucks. And then the Democrats are just punks.
I mean, how else do you describe it? Yeah, how else do you describe it? That's it. But
Right.
look, it's not just that they're punks. It's like when you have a list of rules that you have to follow, that you should be following. If Democrats follow those rules and Republicans don't, this will continue to happen. Democrats will continue to in general, lose to Republicans. Republicans don't give a shit about the rules.
Mm,
Republicans will do
they
whatever
don't.
it takes, get whatever they want. Democrats relatively stay within the bounds of the rules. So they're all. What was that? Sorry.
They're coming for you, dude.
Yeah. So like it doesn't matter if a person is allowed to cheat unchecked, everyone that person is competing against will do poorly. And like, hold on, let's just take the message. Oh, I'm kind of loud apparently. I'm keeping the baby up.
Oh wow, sorry.
Anyway, the
Oh,
the,
that's
the
probably
point,
what that noise was.
yeah, the point I'm making here is like, if you look at the political leanings of the U.S., like the Republican Party is so much further right than the average of the U.S.,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And the Democrats are not even like anywhere near the middle either. So like for the Democrats to win, the entire population has to shift so significantly
Right.
to one direction than the other. And it's not just that; it's like it's things like the Electoral College and like definitely benefits Republicans in this state. For Democrats to win, they have to win both the popular vote and the Electoral College.
Yeah. Which
Republicans can win without the popular vote, and
yes,
that
it's
is an issue. That is an issue. Like you get a situation where a majority is governed by the ideals of the minority, and that is not fair.
no, not at all. And, again, we saw it in 2016. We almost, in my opinion, so like it got to a point where I think they had to pass legislation for this election that the electoral college couldn't vote against the population or against the
Like how sad is that that has to be a thing?
yeah, it was a thing for 2020 that they couldn't vote against the
The will
their
of the people,
the
the
people.
constituency, basically.
And I thought about it, I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Isn't that what they should have been doing in the first place?
Yeah,
Because 2016, I think the issue was in 2016, you saw a lot of them voting however they felt like, and it just didn't make it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't make any sense. And on that note, like, I think impeachment, looking at the way it's going, it's not gonna happen.
No,
He's
he's already been impeached. That
I'm
that
sorry,
that has happened.
the
What you're
the the moving forward from that,
Yeah,
he's not
yeah,
gonna get
I'm saying yes.
and
No, I don't know that. I don't know that it's going to happen, but I think
they want this man
they need what
fun.
2/3 or something like that to complete, but they only need a majority to make it so he can't run again. I think
Right.
I
And I
could be wrong,
no,
but,
yes, but I also think what most of the Republicans plan on doing is not coming to vote that day, so that you can get 2/3 from the number that's in there that's voting the day of. Because
I don't
then
know.
if you no, if you didn't vote, you can then go ahead and tell your people whatever lie you want to tell them.
Yeah, true enough. True
Do
enough.
you see how these fuckers think?
They're
Like,
they're, they're, cow- they're cowards. They're cowards.
because I
Yeah, like
know for a fact, if that's the plan, what they're gonna be telling their people is somehow they didn't let them.
you know what? I really, really wish we had the basically Australian like version of voting in the US, where number one, everyone's registered to vote basically. You're required by law to vote. Like you
Right,
can't be like, I'm not voting. You go in there, you can draw a penis on it all, you can do whatever you want, but you have to go in there and you have to do something. That's the
right.
second thing. The third thing they have is um instant runoff, basic sorry, not instant runoff. What's that? Ranked choice voting,
Hmm.
right? So when you go to vote, you have a list of people that you're voting for, and like you basically select them based on the order that you want them, right?
Right.
So like if let's say Bernie was running, right,
Mhm.
and Bernie's like your second guy, and like Biden's your first, you put Biden in one, Bernie in second, and then go down the list for everyone, right, from your people person you favor all the way down to the person you favor least. You put them in that order. So like when they do all the numbers, right? If your
Mhm.
person in first doesn't win, they go down to your second and count from your thing. Like, okay, you voted for this person. What's this person's total vote since the first person you voted for didn't win, right? So,
Right.
like, if you voted for Biden and Biden didn't get enough votes, then your votes get moved over to Bernie because Bernie's your second choice. You know,
Oh, okay,
and
that's
I
kind
yeah,
of dope.
I wish that was the way you voted in the U.S. You know, where you can order the yeah, so you can
Makes
vote for
so
different
much
yeah,
sense. But
right,
also it stops one party from cheating. And so
right,
I'm guessing
right.
it was probably proposed at some point, and they were like, "Nah, we can't do that." Like,
No, no, you know, like I really wish that's the situation in the U.S. And like
that ain't happening.
for for that's the best description. It's wishful thinking, but you know, like,
Alright, so
maybe we'll get there someday.
where do we rank punishment for Trump?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna put that on a C.
Yeah, I mean, because there's still a possibility that something could happen where he can't run
Yeah,
for office ever
yeah,
again. But in terms of like actual punishment, like jail time,
right,
the next thing was the fashion show that
yeah.
was the inauguration and Bernie Sanders' moment.
Okay.
Granted,
Personally, like
you think it was
I
overrated?
know, I know a lot of people like Bernie Sanders,
Hmm.
and sure, memes are great. Like sometimes you just don't get a meme. I
Right,
didn't get it. I don't get the meme. I like. I know what's going on. I
right,
understand what's going on, but it
right,
doesn't resonate with me at all. So like whenever people are like posting Bernie and random things, I'm just like, okay, cool. It's Bernie and a random thing. I get
right.
what you're doing. It doesn't resonate with me.
The funniest Bernie meme to me was the one where someone put him in on the train as an old man sitting cross legs on the train, because that's like facts.
That's New York,
Yeah, like, and that was it for me. Honestly, I think for Bernie it was just another event because he still had to work, so
I
he
guess. Yeah. Right.
didn't
Right.
care about the pompous and the show of it. Like Michelle came in booked, like she came in bad.
Right.
Kamala wore a skirt, and I was expecting her to be the one in the pantsuit for some reason. Um,
Hmm.
she wore a skirt suit instead of a thing, something. And the colors were great. It was a nice thing. And then Joe Biden got sworn in on the Bible from like the Lord of the Rings.
He went and found the original Bible.
Seriously, like I think he said 100. Like no, that's 100. That's a 1,000-year-old Bible. Like come on, like that
Written by
Bible.
Peter himself.
If you open that Bible, there's like a space in for like some treasure, lost chalice or something from like the days of old. And so that was it was pretty cool. I think it was
Yeah,
just. I think more so for a lot of people, it was just like, okay, so this, it's finally happening. Like
yeah,
everything that we've been going through, all the BGs, some because again, some people still felt like leading up to that moment. I also think the insurrection helped a little bit, where it's like, okay,
hmm
since that has happened, we can actually have like a transition. Like no one is going to try anything stupid. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure they tried, but it just it felt good for some reason. If
yeah.
it
Like
didn't feel good.
for me, it was just like like I've never like I mean tired of my voting years and being aware of politics and all that. I have never watched an inauguration till this one.
Wait, you didn't watch Obama's first
Nope,
inauguration?
nope,
Wow.
nope. Because like
I,
in my mind, right? I was like, I'm not gonna waste my time watching this because 100% they're gonna clap that dude.
thing
like basically it was a defense mechanism, right? Like I'm not gonna invest myself in this
Mhm.
so that when this thing I'm sure is gonna happens,
You're
like
like, shit, you
I'm
didn't.
I'm not as depressed about it. Like I'll still be depressed, but not as depressed about it. But like no, I didn't watch Obama, so I was like, they're gonna clap that dude. I'm not
I feel you.
like I was like he's not gonna make it a year. They're gonna clap him. Yeah.
I don't blame you. I know a lot of people were thinking that, and yeah, but this one more okay. So I watched Obama's first one, and there was a certain feeling of like, oh wow, a black man is president. This just felt like there was a collective breath of like,
That's it. That's it. I
yo,
needed I needed the catharsis.
yes,
That was why like it was catharsis for me. Like
yeah, and
this
it
in
was,
that situation.
I don't know if it was exciting. It was just like when he finally put his hand on the Bible. I think that was the
Mhm.
moment where I was like, you know what? Yes, like I can. I changed it after that. I didn't
It
care
was
about
it,
any.
wa- it was that and like the whole like reading like the politics and the QAnon stuff. I was like, stuff's gonna pop off before like just before and like helicopters gonna come down and get arrested. So like I was reading all that, laughing
Right,
my ass off at the same time while waiting for all this, like the actual stuff that's supposed to happen. So like
right,
I was still it was still exciting for me.
right. I think what was more exciting about the day of for me was the fact that President Trump decided, one, he wasn't going to show. The other part, he was going to fly to Andrews and give a speech. I actually watched all of that, and then he was going to fly to Mar-a-Lago. Um, he gave the speech he gave at Andrews. Oh my god! And then his son crying, his son's wife crying. Ivanka like, yeah, Ivanka, because Melania doesn't show any emotion. Ivanka crying, like all of that, like was kind of delicious. It was all delicious to me. Um. Uh. Hey.
Oh, someone says hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Zale. I hope that's how you
Right.
pronounce it.
Right. I hope so. But yeah, it was all of that to me that was kind of delicious. The actual inauguration itself was just for me more so, as I said to you, just a release of like, yo, we did it. Like, remember the meme of Kamala running, and when they announced that they had won, and she calls Joe,
Yep.
and she's like, we did it, Joe. That's how I felt watching it.
Yep.
But before that, I was just excited that like Trump leading up to this didn't want to lose, right? But he
Yeah.
like him leaving the
It,
White
it,
House felt like
it doesn't matter whether or not he wanted to lose. He lost.
right. Yes. but for some reason I just felt like he lost finally. I don't know why that moment was that for me.
Right,
Right.
right. It's
But
just
then the rest of
the
the
guys.
sit.
Yeah, the guy's never gonna believe he lost. But like number one, it was catharsis for me. I was excited for the catharsis, and then I was also like drinking salty tears of like salty
Yo,
tears. I was excited for that. I was drinking salty tears, and I was laughing at like the whole Q conspiracy at that point in time, where they were so sure that like right before noon, right before he got like
yeah,
sworn in,
Papa,
something would happen. Like choppers would come in, and like people would come down on the ropes, and the military would arrest him. Like all that was just like really delicious for me. So
and
like
then
like
did you see the after when he got sworn in and all the people were like, "Oh my god!" Did you read those takes? And there were
yeah.
videos of people crying. There's this one white lady, "There's President Trump, please save us!" Like, listen, I collected all her tears. This cup is so handy today. I collected all of it and I sipped it, and I was like, you know what? I think this inauguration is a moment of its own self. Just it's a whole thing of the last 4 years because again, and I was what made it even more so interesting was after was Twitter took away Trump's account and a lot of other people's
Oh,
accounts.
see, like the fact that it took so long for him to get banned on Twitter was also another one. And that goes back into that all that entire week. Yeah,
Right,
that past week where Twitter was finally like, nah, dude, you're banned. Like
right.
that was, I was like, fucking. It took you guys 4 fucking years to get here. Are you
It was
fucking
4 years.
shitting me?
Right. It was and only because of the insurrection. And that was the only reason they did it.
Right.
Not anything else. Not the fact that for the longest he was missing. He was tweeting a lot of misinformation about COVID. He was
Yep.
tweeting a lot of misinformation about their not that it was the insurrection. Again, not saying that the insurrection is a small event. Well, it's not
Right.
that. And
Right. 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 Right.
it's the
Like
fact that
like
it's
the
so
camel's back should have been broken a lot earlier.
way before that. Um, the only thing is you didn't get to see him whine because for a fact he would have posted about how his
You know what?
inaugural.
You know what? I, on the one hand, I can see the appeal of it, but like, I just I just want him to disappear. I don't even want to see him complain. Like I don't want to take like solace in him being upset. I just don't want to think about him anymore. Like the best thing that can happen, in my mind, the best thing that can happen to Trump is for everyone to forget he exists. Literally everyone forget he exists.
It's gonna
Like
eat him more than anything else.
exactly.
He
So
needs
like
the eyes.
yeah, yeah.
I
People don't
think
think about me. I'm a nobody.
right.
That's
It's
me.
probably killing him.
Yeah.
So, based on all of that, where do you rank Joe and his Bible?
That's a B for me.
All right. Because man, that Bible, I think the Bible is what elevates it, man. Because honestly, how? Where do you find that? Like they probably made it for the event.
No,
they,
it's
it's a Hollywood
I'm inclined to say it's probably from his church.
from the Templars. What? It's a Templar Bible.
like,
What are you
like,
talking about?
so I'm Catholic. Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. Shoot. Not
When
that.
I- when I- when I when I when I when I go to churches or whatever, like the Bible they always have up there that the father
These.
reads from is always like this massive thing, and some of them are like really really old. And they've been kept in that church for like generations or whatever, and that's where all the previous fathers read from or whatever. So like, I wonder if it was from his church.
It could have been. It probably is from his church. It's probably from like his church, from like his parents, when like
Right,
great.
right, right.
And it was like, if you ever become president, you have to read.
Nah, he probably called up his church back home like, yeah, so I'm gonna send someone to come pick that Bible you guys use up all the time,
Right.
so I can swear on it and then have it sent back to you guys. Can you guys do that? Probably something like that.
You're the
Yeah.
president, so why not? Like, you remember my great grandfather built that wing or put new windows in the church, so you owe us.
Right, right, right.
Let me use my presidential powers on you. And I mean, he went to work immediately after that. Like he did some nice things. But the
Yeah.
last thing that happened this month, or the last big thing that happened this month, the last Wednesday was the stocks, GameStop stocks or shorts. It was GameStop and I think AMC. And I saw someone on my Twitter timeline buy a Tesla.
I mean, good for
Listen,
that person. Good for that person.
I don't know
Me,
why
me
that would
personally,
invest with
like
them, but
I can't meme my own money. I'll tell you that much. Like for people to be able to be like, I've got $50,000 to meme on this. Like that's
listen, like,
yeah.
hey, listen, yeah, it was probably. Hopefully, it's probably if it was a white person, they probably have enough.
Right.
Yeah,
The thing is like these guys are basically all holding, or sorry, not holding, propping GameStop up, for example.
right.
Eventually, they're gonna need to cash out,
Hmm.
and the more they cash out, the lower the value goes.
Right. It's gonna
Yeah.
suck for some people who are still gonna be in there when
Right.
some people,
Right.
because I
So
think
like if you
uh
if you if you went in and already got out, you're good. But if
good
you if just but and that's also the thing. Like some of these people memeing, they're not doing it because like they want the money. They're doing it just because.
just
That's
because
the
they
entire
want.
point of their. That's the entire point of a meme. Like you do
Hmm.
it just cause. You're not doing it because you're actually looking to gain anything.
Right.
So like
If they're probably gonna make exactly what they put in at some point. So if that's what
possibly
if
possibly
that's what they
like
walk out with, they're
if
okay with the fact that they made rich people cry.
Like if you bought one share or like two shares, if you bought five shares, right? If you could afford to buy five shares or whatever, or however many shares, like you're probably like, yeah, if I lose this, whatever. But like the people who are like putting 50 grand in, those guys are like
Those guys
they're
are
they're
they could
they're
be
they're, they're either rich
right.
or they're really dumb.
Actually, I saw someone put his father's house on, and he's pretty much bred it up now because I think it started at like $18,
Yep,
$17 and went up to $500.
yep.
If you came out at the $500 mark, then yes, you're great. But I
The-
think the best story I saw that came out of this was some dude um couldn't afford surgery for like his
yep.
mom or something, and honestly, that kind of touched me. I was like, you know what, there is some good that came out
like
of it.
I'll put it this way. Like I don't think the people of that subreddit are good.
No, they're not.
Like
They're
I don't think they're good people. Like in the same way that I don't think the people at Wall Street are good
oh
people.
no.
But what we're seeing here is like the lesser evil beating the shit out of the bigger evil,
Yes, I
and
think
that
that's exactly what
that
it is.
and like saying their lesser evil is definitely me being a bit extreme about it because like I'm sure there are decent people in there somewhere, like really really
Yes.
legitimately decent
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah,
need all
yeah,
the help you can get.
yeah.
And so like I'm it's 2021. You try not to lump everybody in. If you say
Mhm.
men are this, some dude will pop up and say not all
Oh
men,
man, please
right?
let
So
we have a good comment and let's look at that.
right. So like I'm watching the lesser evil kick the shit out of the greater evil's ass. And I'm just gonna like that's entertaining to me. Like I'm sorry, it's funny
So
to me.
watching Robin Hood do Robin Hood things, not the app, because the app has been
Right.
proven not to be Robin Hood because
Yeah.
they didn't steal from the rich and give to the poor.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I said some good came out of it, and that's, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's what I like. I don't necessarily, because the whole thing, like the market itself is very, very, it's a game, it's a system, it's
Yep.
rigged against
Yep.
regular people, and it's, if you don't have enough capital, you're not gonna make money, and it's built for people that have money to make more money. It's not
Yep.
necessarily built for like regular people. That's the
I
way.
don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Yeah, so that's so, but seeing, as you said, seeing regular people use the system that wasn't built for them to kind of get some sort of
Right.
win and collect the tears of, of
Yeah.
hedge fund
Yeah.
managers.
For a hedge fund to be like bankrupt or be on the verge of bankruptcy, mwah. delicious.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely delicious.
Yes, sir.
You know, and to be quite frank, like I fucking hate GameStop as a company. Like
Listen,
as a company, I fucking hate GameStop. But
I
this whole entire thing, like I
right.
love that it's happening.
And I think a lot of the people that are putting money into GameStop stocks don't care for GameStop either, because if you take your old system into GameStop, you're walking out with $25 in GameStop vouchers, not money. Not
I used to work at a electronics boutique way before like they were bought by GameStop, but same company as far as I'm concerned, right?
right.
Like I really when I worked at electronics boutique, right, I was required to sell 5 game doctors a week or something like that. And like they didn't. It wasn't quite as bad as afterwards when like GameStop was like, oh, you need to, try to sell this Edge magazine and all these things. It's like
Right.
you'd walk into a GameStop, right, and you'd want to buy a game,
You have to buy like
and like they'll
mhm,
they'll the first thing they'll ask you is, did you pre-order, right? And if you didn't pre-order, you can see them all on the shelves. If you
mhm.
didn't pre-order, they're like, nah, no, we're not gonna sell it to you. Like we have a limited amount for people who pre-ordered them. I'm like, bullshit. I worked at electronics boutique and how this skills.
Right.
Yeah. Second, like they'll try to push everything else. And like, buy this magazine, sign up for
Oh
this,
yeah,
sign up.
I
I'm
have
like,
a
bruh, just
game
just
format that I don't
just
care about anymore, bro.
just give me the game,
Right.
ring me up, and let me walk the fuck out so I can go play my game. I don't give a shit about any of this.
Right.
If I wanted a strategy guide, I would have picked up a strategy
Right.
guide. Yeah. So it's so and like yes, I can't fucking stand Amazon. And like in this day and age, when I buy games digitally. But like if I had to buy a physical game, like I'm just gonna go click on Amazon or whatever, because like they're not gonna try to sell me like all these other things and basically waste my time,
Mhm, mhm.
right? Like I want to be able to walk in. Like what I wanted was to be able to walk to a GameStop, pick up on my way home from work, right? Get
Yes.
off work, walk into GameStop, pick up the game, go home, play the game. I'm like, when I leave, you have to sit in 30 minutes of traffic. You're wasting my time. Like fuck you.
And and the worst part, like even if you look at GameStop last year during the whole like pandemic and the rollout of the hottest consoles, the PS5 and the
Yeah,
Xbox Series X, where you'd go to like I think I was real time posting in the group chat, because there's a GameStop like not too like literally my window to a block down where I can see, in a
right.
shopping center, it's a GameStop right there, and what they were doing was bringing two, like maybe 5 PS5s and then 3 Xboxes at a time, and they would have people line up outside in the cold and then tell you, oh wait, we only have, if you want a PS3, it only for the people on the front of the line, like the rest of you guys can go home. Or then you go sit online and they're only selling bundles. So
I remember when
stop is the good guy here.
this is another electronics boutique story, but it didn't change when GameStop took over. Like when the GameCube came out
Hmm.
at my store, you had to buy the GameCube, buy one controller, you had to buy the GameCube, you had to
Hmm.
buy one accessory, and then you had to pre-order at least 5 games. That was the bundle.
Nah,
Yeah, yeah. But I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
that's so
Like,
wild. That's
and
fucking.
it was so funny because like my electronics boutique was like across the street from a Toys R Us, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I work here. You guys want to do? I'll just fucking go to Toys R Us. I'll just fucking go to Toys R Us
Listen,
and get it.
you know what? If Toys R Us was still around, I would rather like they had tried to save Toys R Us than do this shit for GameStop. I'm serious. It's not, again,
I,
we've said it's not like GameStop.
I worked at Toys R Us too.
Or you're trying to tell me this, because my shopping experiences at Toys R Us are not. I don't have
my,
like
my shopping
one.
experience at Toys R Us, my work at Toys my shopping experiences in Toys R Us were good. Work, it's retail. No matter where you work in retail, it's gonna be trash.
Shitty. But so all in all, like GameStop is not the good guy. Most of the Reddit guys are not great. But
No.
I think what makes it exciting, elevates it, is who they're doing it to, and I think
Yes, absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
delicious. Again, on the level of like what has happened this month, it's not the
Hmm.
greatest thing though.
No, it's
It's
not the
it's a
greatest thing,
it's a
but
cute.
it's been
Oh,
entertaining. Like
it's
it's
been
not so far that it's exciting. It's exciting for some people. Like I
right,
absolutely see that. For me, it's more just entertaining, not exciting.
right, right. It's entertaining. I think it's just a delicious kind of. It's like, huh?
Yeah,
Look, poor people are gaming the system built for rich people.
right,
Imagine
right.
that.
It's
That's
like,
what's
oh
gonna be
no,
funny.
yeah.
Right. It's like, oh,
Rich people are like, invest your money. No, not like that.
right. And so, based on that, I think it's a C, it's a B C level kind of,
Like,
thing.
if there was like a C plus or a B minus,
It
it would
would
be
be
right in
that,
between the C and in between the D, like
right?
right between the B and the C for me. So like it's kind of hard for me to place it.
You know what?
To be quite honest,
Let's do this. Boom. C. Right. We might as well use all our spaces.
might as well use all the space.
C plus. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
There it is. And that is 2021's first month events ranked for you. Insurrection, obviously, because of just the shit storm it was.
Yeah,
It's the A. There's nothing God tier happened this year. It's still early, so let's
still early.
a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's hope we have more gods. Well, more above B, less above, less below. Like
Right.
C
I think the
this
Snyder
year.
Cut event is God tier for me. The box. Listen, no, the food box. I don't know what kind of
I
rollout
just
they're gonna do. If the food box is the top tier of their rollouts, it's gonna be a very interesting movie rollout.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I'm just like,
Right. It didn't make sense.
why are you guys so in like if the Wachowskis like I love the Matrix movies. If the
Right.
Wachowskis were like we're releasing the extended cut of the first Matrix in theaters or whatever, like I'd be excited, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't be going on and on and on and on about it.
Right.
Like I
Right.
wouldn't be like this whole thing, like the people who are all about it, I don't get it. Like I can't get into it at all. I'm just like it's
Where
still
people
just a
feel like
movie.
he was cheated because he didn't complete. If
It's
to
still
me
just a movie. Like
that movie comes out and it's literally a couple things removed from the original movie, I'm going to drink the
listen.
tears.
My takeaway is if Joss Whedon couldn't salvage a movie, your movie was trash.
Right, right.
That's it. That's the end of it. Like I know some people feel some way about Joss, some way or the other about Joss Whedon. Like ultimately for me, like if he couldn't salvage a movie, then your movie was just bad to begin with. No,
I mean,
period.
that's the truth though. The movie is not all that. Um, but I don't know if it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's one of those things. I don't want to say this, but it's I hate rubbernecking, but you know how like even because you're mad at the back and then you get to the front, you want to see how bad this accident was that caused traffic, and you get up there and it's not bad, and you're like, what the fuck? I think this is that. I think
I
this not. It's
mean,
like you're gonna be like, what the fuck? This is what y'all were crying for 3 years.
the best possible outcome is like he releases and it's magically good. Doubtful, very doubtful. But I
Yeah.
will be pleasantly surprised if it's like magically good.
Well, see you March 18th because we're gonna talk about that movie, and you're
I
invited.
mean,
Yes,
what day of the week is that?
it's. I think it's a Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, well then I don't have to be there because I'm not gonna watch it.
We'll wait till the
I'm not.
Sunday up.
I'm
We're
not.
gonna wait till the. I will wait till the Sunday
Wow.
up to put you
Wow.
because you're here for that. But anyways, thank you again, Ray, for making an appearance and talking about the first major events of 2021. I
No
hope
worries. It's
right.
fun.
You're right. It was kind of fun. I didn't. I
Gotta
honestly,
say, I miss Roy.
I do. I wish he
Yeah,
was
I miss
here
Roy.
because he would have. He would have gone in. I think he would have gone in at
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
insurrection. But thank you for coming. I can't wait till we do the next either the next talk, the weekly roundup or the next rank show. So
Fearless.
definitely gonna have you here for Snyder Cut weekend. That's gonna be great. I can't wait. And then Zale, thank you for
Listen,
watching.
you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Oh, it's oh wait, you weren't here for Wonder Woman, were
And
you?
you've already set yourself up for disappointment. I was here for Wonder Woman.
Oh
I was
yeah,
here
man.
for like the first
Why don't you
first
just
half of it.
yeah? Why don't you just come back and jump in on the DC on the DC?
I was like, I didn't expect Wonder Woman to be bad.
Oh my god, I don't think anybody did. I was so excited for Wonder Woman. I had this because again, the first one was just here. Well, to
Yeah.
me, you weren't in the group when
Okay.
we
All right. All right.
argued Wonder Woman.
Bad is an overstatement. Like,
It
just
was bad, bro.
they made a lot of bad choices in that
Right.
movie. That they could have done so much more to make that movie
Like
better
you're
than it
trying
was.
to give it a pass by saying bad as I think it was bad. It's because I think, to be honest, I love Wonder Woman so much that after seeing that movie, I was like, it's not that bad, but it is bad. I
Listen,
haven't
listen.
seen it again.
I remember superhero movies of the '90s and the early 2000s.
I think that's where it's in that
Like,
mix.
it's better than a lot of them. It's better than a lot
But
of like, the early 2000s and like '90s superhero movies.
I can't give it that pass because it's made here and now in our now.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Like we've been spoiled by superhero movies getting significantly better than they used
Like
to be.
every
But like
every
I'm looking at the whole spectrum. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, I remember all those movies that came out. It made a Jonah Hex movie.
Okay, all right. In that
Like
case, DC has been bad for so long. You know what? We have a whole DC segment coming up. We're gonna rank every DC movie ever made. Second up. But thank you, Ray, for joining us. We will hopefully see you soon. Hopefully I didn't keep you up too late. Thank you for watching. For those of you that are going to be listening on the podcast, thank you for listening.